Have you ever walked into a room and felt like someone was quietly trying to shrink you? Like they didn't need to say it out loud, but their tone, their looks, their little comments all whispered the same thing. You don't belong here. It's never obvious at first. Sometimes it comes wrapped in fake kindness, a sarcastic smile, a backhanded compliment, a question that makes you doubt yourself. And if you're not careful, you'll start to believe them, not because they're right, but because you're too busy questioning your own value to see what's really happening. Here's what they don't want you to know. People who try to make you feel small are often terrified of how big you might actually be. They don't attack your weaknesses. They target your strengths, because that's what threatens them. They don't need to defeat you. They just need you to stop believing in yourself. But the moment you stop needing their approval, everything shifts. The moment you stop reacting, stop explaining, stop chasing their validation, you become something they can't control. And that scares them more than anything. Think about it. A fire only grows if you keep feeding it. A shadow only exists if there's light behind it. And fear only works if you bow to it. Once you stop playing their game, the illusion breaks. You realize their power over you was never real. It was borrowed, and you just took it back. So the question is this: when someone tries to make you feel small, will you shrink? Or will you finally stand in your full height and make them feel their own weakness? Let's talk about it. If this message hit home, if you've ever had someone try to make you feel small, then you know how powerful this lesson truly is. Don't keep it to yourself. Like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who needs to hear it. This kind of truth can shift mindsets, rebuild confidence, and even change a life. And I want to hear from you. Have you ever faced this kind of quiet disrespect? How did you handle it? Drop your story in the comments. Let's keep this conversation real, powerful, and healing together. Number 1, spot their insecurity fast, so you don't fall for the trap. Recognize their insecurity before you mistake it for your own failure. Why do some people go out of their way to make you feel small? Why the subtle jabs, the forced laughter at your ideas, the quiet eye rolls when you speak? It's not because you're weak, it's because they are. And if you don't recognize this early, you'll end up thinking their problem is your flaw. See, when someone tries to belittle you, it often has nothing to do with you and everything to do with the storm they're hiding inside. Confident people don't need to tear others down. But the insecure, they'll use sarcasm like a sword and compliments laced with poison, all to keep you questioning yourself. Because as long as you're doubting your own value, they feel safe. Think of it like this: a candle doesn't hate the sun, it just can't compete with it. So it tries to dim your light before yours reveals its weakness. That's what insecure people do. They mask their fear of being overlooked by trying to keep you small. But once you realize that, you stop shrinking. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." And that's the key. Don't mirror their behavior. Don't fight to prove you're good enough. You don't need their validation. What you need is clarity, the ability to see through their mask and realize they're battling something inside that has nothing to do with you. Let me tell you about James, a man who faced this daily at work. No matter what he did, a co-worker always found a way to downplay it. At first, James questioned himself. But then he understood. He wasn't being attacked for failing. He was being targeted because he was rising. So James stopped reacting. He focused on growth. And slowly, the belittling stopped. Not because the other person changed, but because James stopped giving their words power. That's your first step. Recognize their insecurity. Don't carry their weight. Let them deal with their own darkness while you keep walking toward your light. Number 2, don't react to insults. Stay calm or stay controlled by them. Stay unshaken, because their words only work if you let them. Here's one of the most powerful skills you'll ever learn: how to stay calm when someone tries to shake you. Think about it. How many times has someone said something rude, sarcastic, or just plain mean, and you felt your chest tighten? That instant urge to defend yourself, prove them wrong, or fire back. That's not weakness, that's being human. But here's the warning: the moment you react, they win. The people who try to bring you down, they're not just throwing words, they're throwing bait. And if you bite, they get what they came for: control. Control over your emotions, control over your peace, control over you. That's why learning to stay composed, especially when you're being tested, is not just strength, it's power. Marcus Aurelius said, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it." In other words, it's not what they said that hurt you, it's how much you let it matter. And once you stop giving their words importance, their power over you fades. Take David, for example. Every day his co-worker would throw little jabs, criticize his work, or try to get under his skin. And at first, it worked. David lost sleep, replayed conversations, and questioned himself. But then he woke up. He realized his peace was being held hostage by someone who didn't even matter. So he changed his response. When insulted, he smiled. When criticized, he stayed quiet and focused on doing better, not to prove anything, but because that's who he was. Over time, the attacks stopped. Why? Because David stopped feeding the fire. That's your lesson. Stop reacting. Their words are noise unless you give them volume. Let them talk. Let them try. But don't let them shake you. Your silence, your peace, your calm, that's where your true power lives. And once you master that, nobody can touch you. Number 3, master indifference. It's the silent weapon that breaks their power. Respond with indifference, because silence breaks what arguments never could. When someone mocks you, questions your worth, or throws shade your way, what they really want isn't to insult you, it's to control you. They want to see if they can pull you out of character, if they can push your buttons just enough to make you react. That's the trap. But here's the truth. The strongest reaction you can give to disrespect is none at all. Indifference is not weakness. It's power disguised as peace. When you stop caring about what someone thinks of you, you instantly take away their power. They can't use words to hurt you if those words mean nothing to you. You don't flinch, you don't respond, and that quiet resistance becomes louder than any argument. It's like a stage performer who craves attention. If the crowd doesn't clap, they lose their purpose. People who try to make you feel small are just performers seeking a reaction. No spotlight, no power, no audience, no fuel. Seneca said it best. Silence is a lesson learned through life's many sufferings. The more you grow, the more you realize not every insult deserves a reply. Some things are too small for your energy. Some people are too loud to be taken seriously. Let me tell you about Alex. He had a co-worker who constantly rolled their eyes at him, made rude remarks in meetings, and tried to chip away at his confidence. At first, Alex almost took the bait, but then he chose silence. No reaction, no defense, just focus. And something amazing happened. That co-worker lost interest. Without an emotional response to feed off of, their insults had nowhere to land. They eventually stopped. So if someone's trying to pull you into drama, don't play their game. Stay still. Stay silent. Stay in control. You don't have to fight battles with people who are beneath the level you're rising to. Let them waste their energy trying to get to you. Your calmness, that's your weapon, and it's untouchable. Number 4, stop explaining yourself. Let success shut them up for good. Let your results speak. Because real power needs no words. When someone tries to make you feel small, your first instinct might be to speak up, to defend yourself, explain your worth, or argue your point. But here's a truth that'll save you years of frustration. You don't win battles like this with words. You win with action. You win in silence. You win by rising. See, people who try to bring you down aren't always hoping you'll fail. They're hoping you'll doubt yourself. They want you second-guessing your goals, watering down your dreams, and shrinking to fit their comfort zone. Because if you start to believe you're not enough, you'll stop showing them how much you actually are. But here's the shift. When you stop trying to convince them and start focusing on your own growth, you take away their only weapon, your reaction. Your silence becomes louder than any comeback. Your progress becomes the only answer they can't argue with. Epictetus said, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." And that's the move. Don't tell them who you are. Show them. Let your work speak. Let your growth scream. Let your results walk in the room before you even have to say a word. Let me tell you about Daniel. Everyone around him laughed at his ambitions. They called him unrealistic, dismissed his ideas, tried to label him as average. At first, he wanted to clap back, to argue, but he didn't. Instead, he stayed silent, locked in, and worked harder than ever. And guess what? His success flipped the entire script. The same people who mocked him, they started asking him for advice. That's your blueprint. Stop explaining. Start executing. Let them talk while you take action. Because in the end, the most powerful statement you can ever make is proving them wrong without saying a word. Number 5. Set boundaries early, or they'll keep testing how low you'll go. Let their negativity be the fire that fuels your rise. What if I told you that the hate, the doubt, the quiet digs people throw your way could actually be the very thing that lifts you higher? Not because it's right, but because you've learned how to turn pain into power. That's the move most people miss. When someone tries to make you feel small, with their disbelief, their sarcasm, their lack of support, you've got two choices. You can either let it sit heavy on your chest and break you down, or you can use it as fuel. Every insult, every eye roll, every "you're not good enough," it's energy. And energy can either destroy you or drive you. You decide. See, people who throw negativity at you are usually running from their own failures. They gave up on themselves long ago, and now they want to see you do the same. Because if you rise, if you prove them wrong, it reminds them of what they never had the courage to do. That's why they try to keep you small. It makes their own comfort zone feel safer. But the strongest people, they take that same negativity and flip it. They let it light a fire. They say, "Watch me." And that's when things change. Seneca once said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body." Think of it like training. Just like your muscles grow under pressure, your mindset gets sharper under resistance. The people trying to break you are actually shaping you. I knew a guy named Jake, told his family he wanted to start a business. They laughed. Told his friends. They shrugged. But instead of folding, he used their doubt as fuel. Every "you can't" became a reason to prove he could. Years later, the same people who doubted him, they were coming to him for advice. So stop taking their words personally. Say thank you for the motivation. Then focus, not on revenge, but on results. Because once you let their doubt become your drive, nothing can stop you, not even them. Number 6, use their doubt as fuel, or it'll burn holes in your confidence. What if every insult thrown your way was actually a gift, a hidden spark, a matchstick, not meant to destroy you, but to light a fire under you? When someone tries to make you feel small, you've got a choice to make. Let it crush you, or let it charge you. People will doubt you. They'll roll their eyes at your dreams. They'll tell you to be realistic, not because they've seen your limits, but because they've accepted their own. And seeing you chase something bigger reminds them that they didn't. So they project, they mock, they try to make you question everything. But here's the twist. Their negativity isn't meant to guide you. It's a reflection of everything they couldn't overcome. Seneca once said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body." Just like your muscles grow stronger by lifting heavy weights, your mindset gets stronger by lifting through heavy moments. Every snide comment, every eye roll, every "you can't" is actually a barbell for your spirit. So lift it. Don't crumble, grow. Let me tell you about Jake. He had a vision to start a business. His family laughed. His friends told him to stick with something safe. At first, those voices stung, but instead of backing down, he turned every insult into energy. He worked quietly, relentlessly, with one goal: to prove to himself that they were wrong. Years later, those same doubters were asking him for help, for advice, for a seat at the table he built alone. So when someone tries to break you with doubt, don't respond with anger. Respond with progress. Let their words remind you what you're fighting for. Fuel your fire with their disbelief and make it burn so bright they have no choice but to see you. Because when you use their negativity to climb higher, they stop looking down on you and start looking up. Number 7, cut off the wrong circle before their negativity infects you. Protect your circle, because the wrong people can quietly destroy you. One of the biggest decisions you'll ever make in life isn't just what you do, it's who you do it around. The people you allow into your space will either help you rise or slowly pull you under. And here's the part most people miss. It doesn't always look obvious. It's not always loud hate. Sometimes it's soft doubt, quiet discouragement, a subtle shrug when you share your dream, a raised eyebrow when you talk about your next move. If you're constantly surrounded by people who make you second-guess yourself, who downplay your goals or drain your energy, listen closely. That's not your tribe. That's your warning sign. See, real ones don't need to tear you down to feel important. They don't shrink your light to make theirs shine brighter. True support doesn't come with jealousy or backhanded compliments. It comes with claps, encouragement, and honest belief in your growth. Seneca once said, "Associate with those who will make a better man of you." In other words, choose people who push you to grow, not people who feed your doubts and call it being realistic. Let me tell you about Emily. She was surrounded by friends who didn't openly hate, but they never truly supported. Every time she shared a dream, they hit her with, "You sure you can handle that?" Or, "Maybe just stick to something safer." It wasn't cruel, but it was enough to plant hesitation in her heart. For years, she held herself back, until one day she changed her circle. She found people who believed in her, who didn't flinch when she spoke big, and suddenly her momentum took off. She started moving, building, rising. Her whole energy changed. So here's the truth. You are a reflection of who you spend time with. If they make you feel small, they're not your people. Don't waste time convincing the wrong ones of your worth. Walk away and surround yourself with those who see your power and remind you of it every chance they get. Because the right circle doesn't just support you, it launches you. Number 8. Never forget your worth, because they'll try to make you forget it. Here's the truth no one tells you until it's too late. No one can make you feel small unless you hand them that power. People can say whatever they want. They can label you, doubt you, even try to humiliate you. But those words are empty unless you believe them. And that's where most people slip. They start giving strangers, co-workers, even fake friends permission to shape how they see themselves. But listen carefully. The way someone treats you is their reflection, not your reality. If they mock your dreams, it's because they gave up on theirs. If they doubt your value, it's because they've never seen their own. You're not the problem, but you will become the victim if you keep looking for your worth in their approval. Marcus Aurelius once said, "A man's worth is no greater than his ambitions, not his reputation, not the gossip, not the opinions floating around about him, but the fire that drives him." If you're building, growing, healing, becoming, then you're already more powerful than most will ever admit. Let me tell you about Ryan, a man who worked hard, delivered results, and still got overlooked. His co-workers always had something to say. Too ambitious, too eager, not quite good enough. At first, Ryan believed them, but one day he asked himself, "Why am I letting people who don't know my journey control my confidence?" That question changed everything. He stopped seeking their approval and started betting on himself. He built momentum, he grew stronger, and suddenly those same voices went quiet. That's the lesson. Your worth is not a group decision. It's not up for debate. You decide it. And once you know who you are, no critic, no doubter, no sideways comment can shake you again. So walk with that knowing. You don't need to prove anything. You just need to remember who you are. Because when you do, nobody can make you feel small ever again. And here's the truth that ties it all together. The people who try to shrink you only win if you forget how powerful you really are. But the moment you stop seeking their approval and start owning your worth, their opinions become meaningless. You don't need their permission to stand tall. You just need the courage to stop shrinking. If this message spoke to you, make sure to like this video, subscribe for more content that fuels your growth, and share your story in the comments. Have you ever had to reclaim your power? Let's talk about it.